mind. I don't know why. Perhaps you could tell me.
You are now listening to the Latino Free Mind podcast. Enjoy the show.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Latino Free Minds, episode 109. So what we're doing here with we got a new series, basically, calling it the Watchdog Series. And the reason that we chose Watchdog is because we want to highlight, I guess you could say, regular people that are, everyday people that are fighting back in their communities, fighting against local government overreach and corruption. I think normal people, everyday people like that, need to be highlighted just as much as, your representative, your candidates, and all that, because, you know, people like that are also putting up a fight. So this is the first episode of the Watchdog series, as we're gonna call it, and we hope to have a lot of other people on this series. But for today we have Oscar Barragan. Oscar, brother,
What's
how you
up?
doing, man?
How you doing, Daniel? I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for reaching out and coming on. Honestly, you inspired the the Watchdog series, right? Because when we were kind of going back and forth, I was like, okay, yeah, we need to have something where we can have people such as yourself on here and talk. Because we're regular people too. We're nobodies. You know what I mean? But so I thought, all right, let's do something where we can speak to, highlight other people, and just have some good conversations. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you guys, man. I really do.
Cool. What's up, Gio?
Guys, I'm really happy to be with you. I'm super excited to have Oscar here. We're doing a little
Thank you, man.
collab with bringing in DMU to Latino Free Minds. Um, I was mentioning to Oscar just a few moments ago that I used to live in the valley over there too, and I know firsthand how much the valley needs a watchdog like Oscar.
Thank you,
For
brother.
reals.
Thank you.
So, Oscar, tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do. You're a business owner, the stuff you're kind of into, and we'll go from there.
No, yeah. So I owned a skate shop. Been here since 2012 in the city of San Fernando. Also run a print shop. We do graphics. We do stickers, banners, and stuff like that. A lot of branding stuff. Anybody that wants to start a business, pretty much we help you with your logo, guide you, and that's one of the things that came up, especially learning everything about the skate shop industry, how everything was very secluded. Before all of this started going on, I started understanding like the process of cancel culture and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that led me to do the branding stuff. I want to kind of like just open myself up to be able to be free and print whatever I want, do whatever I want on my boards, and no one can tell me I can or can't do that. That was back in like what 2017, 2018. Um, and then COVID happened. So then that's when COVID happened. We all got scared. Everybody panicked. I panicked. I closed my shop down for like a week. You know,
Mhm.
but then I was like, I started doing my research, um, and then I saw the way I acted on that, and then I was like, man, I supposed to be the leader. I have a family in here, and I can't just cut all the resources. Take food off the table for my kids and not be able to pay the rent. Everything I've invested in my business just go out to the trash.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to open up the doors again and just write it out. And we stayed open. I was grateful that we really didn't get bothered by the county. No one really, they came in, but it wasn't like, how can I say this? They didn't really force anything on us when it came um, to mandating anything. They just told us to comply with certain things, and then I told him I would if he quits the job right now. And then he said, you know what, don't shoot the messenger. And then he's all like, I'm cool. Just you know what, you guys are cool. You guys are because we were all there, and he's like, you guys are cool. Just put this in front of the door, and you guys can go on with your day, and you guys are good. And after that, it didn't really bother us. We left the skate shop open throughout all COVID. We were like the only skate shop open. and I think that was like probably the best year for the skate shop, and that's what led to kind of like being able to move the location and get the print shop across the street. You know.
Yeah. No, and I think at the beginning, a lot of the reaction to it, people didn't know what the hell was going on. So it was in a sense, justified, right? I think after that is when people kind of, went a little too far with it. But what's up, Christian? Christian joined us now. He's in here.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing, Christian?
Hey, man, nice to meet you. Really excited about this one. I heard skate shop and I said, hell yeah.
Yeah, man. So COVID went through and you got your shop back on. They kind of left you alone when you told him, basically used his own what would you call it? Um what he's trying to use against you, back at him, like back at you, brother.
Yeah.
Um how was it after that? Like, because we had to COVID, especially for a business, right? From that point, from the shutdown and all the way to 2021, maybe mid or after. What was that like after the fact, after people were kind of just, making people get jabbed and all this other and whatnot? Like how was that for you as a business?
Well, for a business, we I honestly didn't even force anybody. My store was like the only one where people were able to walk in. I even got um a liberal. He was pretty upset because I helped him out and I wasn't wearing a mask. And then he commented on my Google page. He's like, "Hey, cool, great service, but wear a mask. We're in the middle of a pandemic, you know." Um, so one of my buddies went in there and he commented. He's like, "Hey, man, like, if you walked into the store and there's no sign saying you got to wear a mask and no 6 feet and you see people not wearing a mask, like you're an adult to make a decision, you know." You can continue to shop there or not shop there. You can turn around and be safe at another skate shop, you know. Um, but yeah, everything went good. We continue to operate as we continue to operate normal. A lot of people would come in. Some people wear their masks, and then when they would walk in and see us not wearing a mask, they'd be like, "Hey, do I need to wear this shit?" And then I was like, "Nah, you ain't got to do nothing here, brother." And then they just take it off, and they're like, they'll continue, you know. But other than that, it was good. We didn't really get hit that bad since San Fernando is a private city, and they hired the county. LA County to mandate things like that. So I think they were more focused on like restaurants and stuff like that. Like retail stores, it wasn't really that. Um, they were not really on it, you know, unless you were in the LA County area. Then they had the county workers were there working 24/7 trying to shut the businesses down. But since San Fernando is a little bit more private, they would come around when someone would call or file a complaint, you know. Other than that, they left me alone. Everything was good, you know.
How about your neighbors? Because obviously you're not the only business there in the San Fernando Valley. So, were you the only place open, like on the block, or I mean, I'm sure other people must have seen you and thought, "Hey, let's do this. Like let's bring it back."
Well, for our location, we're kind of like secluded. It's like a small little area where it's like two businesses only, and then from there across the street, there's more businesses. A lot of the business did shut down for like a good like a year. The
A
the
year?
location that I'm in right now, yeah, they were shut down for a long time. The location that I'm currently in right now, we actually moved across the street that it used to be a grooming spot, a pet grooming spot, and they ended up shutting down because of the impact from COVID.
Well, Oscar,
And
so you
mhm,
own a business and you're not new. Like I've gone back on your social media, and you guys have been around for longer than just COVID, right?
mhm,
I mean, you
yeah,
have videos from the skate shop from 10 years ago.
hmm,
Um, so you know how difficult it is to run a business,
oh
and
yeah,
just like the overhead. Um, so, I mean, can you imagine, like, you shut down for a bit, but can you imagine having to shut down for a year? How devastating would that be?
you,
Would that have been for the skate shop?
I wouldn't have a business right now. I'd be working. I'll be working like a regular employee right now and just having to figure things out and try to pay off all the debt that I have. You know, running a business makes a lot of debt as well, and I wouldn't be able to make it. You know, a lot of businesses ended up shutting down. You know, the spot that I'm in, they shut down. They had to file for bankruptcy. And so I took the spot, and this is where I have my print shop now. You know, but yeah, a lot of other businesses saw, and they opened their doors too. You know, some just said we're just going to continue to operate. Some barbershops ended up taking they would take the barbershop across the street would take their chairs out
Like an
and
outdoor barbershop.
yeah, and they would cut hair on the sidewalk. You know.
That's awful because you think about like a haircut and you're in the sun. I sweat
Yeah.
easy, so I would be sweating, and for a barber to cut somebody's hair with sweat, that's terrible. But like no doubt, I couldn't imagine being a business owner in that time. The stress of
You gotta
what
do what
is
you gotta do.
yeah, but
I'm
what
gonna
Yeah.
cut hair outside.
Hey, hey, the state, the cities, counties, local agencies, they were going after business owners here in
Yeah.
California. So it was a big risk. You don't know if you're going to open up and then get fined.
Hmm.
They did go after people.
Especially
Um,
a skate shop, man, because growing up, I mean, that's all the skate movies, the local skate shops going out
yeah,
of biz. We gotta save
we're going
it.
to go after the bad boys.
You
Yeah.
know? So that's good to hear, you know, that you guys, fought, man.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
awesome.
it was good. Unfortunately, skateboarding right now is not it's not in a good standing point, but you know that's due to everything that's going on right now too. You know.
And you rely on the youth. You know, the
Hmm.
spirit of the youth has to be out there to pick up a board and feel the hardest I ever hit was a five stair. So
Yeah,
that
that's
but
heavy too.
I did my toes. I did my toes. But you do have to embody that. It is the youth that pushes skating forward, and yeah, man, it's a particular type.
Yeah. I so you mentioned like right now skateboarding is not that popular. Is it a sport that is up and down? Because for me, whenever I think skateboarding, I just remember how awesome it was when I was younger. How fun it was to like go get your board, get your trucks, get it all custom, put your tape on it, go beat it up, and then tell your parents that you need new stuff because you got it all beat up. And they're like, well, why don't you take care of your stuff? And you're like, but I gotta grind, man. I gotta keep up with the boys out there. Like, I just can't imagine like the youth getting away from that.
Yeah, well, I mean now it's kind of like it's changed, especially with all that DEI stuff that they're pushing. A lot of these skateboarding brands have contracts, and I don't know if they got contracts or what they do, but they're all in the same boat. They push the same DEI stuff. It sucks because there's a lot of kids out there that are very good skateboarders, and nowadays you can't you they get looked out. You know, they get left out because before you would do some gnarly ass tricks. You'd be doing like a blunt off rails. You'd be doing a hard flip on stairs, and that's how you would get that's how you get sponsored. Now you just have to fit the narrative. You know.
Yeah.
Um, and skateboarding is pretty much dead on that side where it's no longer a culture anymore. Now it's like you got to fit the narrative. Before you would hang out and you would go hang out and you'd have the gnarliest fool go over there and you go film them, you know, and you're like, damn, I want to go do some shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
And that would create a little community of skateboarding where everybody would go and skate. Now it's like who's the coolest one? Who's got the nice purple hair? You know what I mean?
Uh,
And they're all cited that way. You know?
Yeah, no, I remember like we used to hang out and somebody would be like, I got this new tape," and they put it in and we'd watch all the new moves, people like coming off of the roofs and we thought we were bad. We thought we were bad going off like five steps and grinding a little bit, but we watched those videos like in total amazement. And I just can't see like my oldest son, he's 13 now, and he likes skateboarding, but he's a little bit scarier than when I was younger. They just don't have those tapes that you're right. They don't have um, that badassery that we got to grow up with and see. They just don't take the chances like we did.
Oh yeah, they play it a lot safer now.
Yeah.
Can,
Yeah.
can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah. You're good,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel.
Okay,
Back up a
damn.
little bit.
Oh shit. Not
Sounds like you're
I
putting
don't
the
know.
tape down.
I don't know what the hell is going on. But so what kind of stuff is going on now in your city that you're kind of, seeing and noticing out there that's kind of got you, I don't want to say maybe concerned is the right word, but you know what I mean? Like what are you seeing in your city that you think people need to focus on out there?
Man, there's a lot of things that's going on in the city, man. They're gentrifying the city. Everything is all has to do with what's going on right now. Um, just a couple years ago, they contracted the drag queen to read to little kids at a public library, and it was a private event. All at the same time, they invited all the daycares and elementaries to come by and to the private reading at the library, but it was like a separate event. Um, so a lot of parents got upset and they went out there and they protested. Well, some people went out there and they stopped the drag queen from going into the library. They didn't physically stop them, but like there was just so many people. It was so crowded of upset parents who were just like, "This is not going to happen here," you know. Parents didn't even know their kids were going to be read a drag queen named Pickles was going to go and read to them. There's
That's
a set.
disgusting.
He's like seven
Pickles?
foot
Oh,
tall. You can see it. There's the videos out there. He's like 7 foot tall, like
no.
dressed like Marilyn Monroe, and the name's Pickles, like pickle.
Yuck.
You know, imagine your 3 year old going out there being educated by that.
Oscar, you have a 6-year-old son, right? Is that
Yes.
your only child?
No, I have more kids. Yeah, I got more.
You have more
I have
kids.
older
Can
kids.
you
Yeah.
imagine taking any one of your kids to an event like that? Isn't
There's
this
no
just
way.
this is disgusting, right?
No,
Pain.
the worst part is parents didn't even know. They
That's
didn't. They didn't
yeah.
know because the way they did it, it was very gaslighting to manipulate the community into like saying this is inclusivity, and you have a lot of other businesses who are they're all brainwashed too, and all they say is if you don't like it, don't bring your kids to the they say, oh, don't bring your kids to the library. Unfortunately, some parents didn't even know their kids were going there, and and it sucks because there's some parents who raise their kids differently. They got godly values. Especially this community was founded up on the mission. Like that is Saint Bernard, San Fernando. That is what this whole community is all about. A lot of people wake up Sundays. They go to take their kids to the little leagues. They go to church, come out, and that is what this whole mission, this whole community was founded upon.
Started in
You
faith.
know,
Started
yeah,
in
it
faith.
started in faith. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
how everything. I know there was natives before and everything, but the way this community got developed was based off those principles and standards.
Yes.
Um, and for some parents to see that happen, it was upsetting, man. To drop your kid off at an elementary or your daycare, and then you signing off the permission slip to a field trip to the library, and then realizing that there's going to be a 7 foot male dressed like Marilyn Monroe in a miniskirt, reading to your kids on how to wear a wig, things that have nothing to do with their education,
Mhm.
and it's just all manipulation. Uh, it's not going to benefit the 3 or 4 year old in the future, none of that. And then they try to turn it and flip it to where you're anti-gay or you're anti-LGBTQ, and it's like,
I,
Yes.
I was just gonna
how
answer
does
that.
everybody wash off the fact that you're targeting the youth. You're
Yeah.
trying to groom them, you're trying to educate them in a certain
Well,
way
Mhm.
that not going to benefit them.
so
That
parents
has
in the
nothing to do.
community come out and they're like, no, we don't want this for the kids. That we shouldn't be doing this. And then they turn it around and go, oh, we
You
we
bigot.
just had an event there, and these right wing parents showed up and started protesting, and it's like it's not even like that. We just don't want them going after the kids. You go have your events with grown-ups. You want to have a plenty of
Hmm.
clubs in
Well,
Hmm.
Hollywood, all over the valley. There's gay clubs, there's trans friendly clubs. Go do it over there. Why do you
Hmm.
have to do it in a public library that's funded with our taxes
What
with
funded with our
our
taxes?
kids?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
well, it's their way to convert. There's no other way.
There's no other way.
That's their religion,
Hmm.
and hook, line, and sinker.
Well, kind
That's
of would.
spot on.
Yeah, it's like today or yesterday, basically these past 2 days, right? With what was it AB 379? Um,
Mhm.
the thing is they use the LGBTQ community, so to speak. They use them as scapegoats for a lot of this stuff that doesn't make sense. Like you said, you
Scapegoats.
if you don't want a drag, if you don't want a drag queen reading to your kids, it's because you're homophobic, right?
Yes.
And going back to AB 379, it's like, it was to make uh you know if you're getting a child, right, a minor,
Hmm.
in as far as sex trafficking for a minor, it makes it a felony, right?
Hmm.
um and they were changing it, or they wanted to. There was like four Democrats that wanted it to exclude 16 and 17-year olds. So if somebody was going to pay for sex with the 16 or 17-year old, the punishment wouldn't have been that harsh.
Well, well, dude, these
So
pedophiles don't get nothing, man. Like the dude from Nickelodeon did like 4 years, right?
okay, well,
Speak of
and,
the devil, Mr. Pickle Boy.
and that's the thing. That's the thing too. It's like they use these, I don't know, saying, I don't know what it is, right? But like they say, well, if you go after the client, and they call them clients, bro,
Hmm.
like the people buying sex from minors, they call them clients. That's what government representatives in the California Senate and Assembly are calling these guys. They're just calling them clients, like it's a fucking business.
Like a
Uh,
business.
um, they're saying if these guys get harsher penalties, that the 16 and 17-year olds are gonna suffer, and they're not gonna report anything. It's like, hold on, that makes no sense. It's like, if they report these guys and they get a harsh sentence, aren't they gonna be away for a longer period of time? Like, I don't understand. The logic or the math isn't adding up
It's
to
their
me.
Yeah,
friends.
Well,
and let's
one
just
can assume, right?
and let's just forget that they got kidnapped. They're doing it by force too.
Mhm.
It's not like a client is somebody who's gonna go and say, "Hey, you know what? I want to buy that, and the product is there for sale, and it's willingly being sold."
Hmm.
But the product that we're talking about here with this bill is not even willingly being sold. It's being trafficked. It's being forced.
Yeah.
And let's just forget about that. Let's just call it clients, and let's forget about that. Let's forget about that they got kidnapped, all of that stuff.
It's
Dude, isn't
just it's
isn't it
just weird.
crazy? Isn't it crazy when you have like a strip, like a part of like a road? You have a strip where there's prostitutes, and people in the area get really up in arms. Like, I hate that I have to drive past here with my family. I hate that I have to see these women out here in the skimpy clothes. It's disgusting. It's demoralizing. But when it's the kids getting that are getting bused to the library, nobody wants to talk, dude.
Hmm.
No, and it's a
It's
male just with a thong.
Yeah. And a thought like
Well, that's good that the parents stood up, dude, and they maybe should have put hands on them. Pause if they were gonna get dirty or something or catch something. But
careful.
No, but while I pulled up, I was there. I didn't think it was fair, especially not around the community that I've been. I sponsored these kids. I seen them grow up, kept them out of gangs.
right.
Oscar showed up with
Sponsor
that
them, give
pursuit
them
lifestyle.
videos.
Mhm.
I used to do. I do a lot of community events still to this point. Ever since I opened up my business, and to see this happen to the community, I was like, man, I can't not not just sit back and let it happen and not do
Well,
nothing about it. You know.
Well, brother, it makes me think of, every now and then I see that meme where it's like it goes all the way back to though they just want to get married, or hey, they just want a
Mhm.
wedding cake, right? And it just
Mhm.
leads into the mess that we're in now. It's
Mhm.
infiltrating. They're infiltrating, and they just push it out far. Maybe not this year they got away with it, but Mr. Pickles will be back. You guys just
Yeah.
need to be
Yeah.
ready,
And you
because
know,
they yeah,
and you know who gets really damaged is the actual people who they just want to like they make it seem like we're anti-gay, we're anti-LGBTQ, and the
yeah,
real people who actually get damaged are the people who they actually just want to live their lives, and if they
Right.
are and if they are and they made that decision as an adult, like they just want to continue, and it damages them too, you know.
right.
And the kids, you know, like it sucks because they have a narrative to push, and they
Mhm.
use every single emotion they can, even from the
And
gay
exactly
community, you
that
know.
same narrative that they push, um, you know, you're talking about where you live, right? The community
Hmm.
knows what you guys need and what you guys are going through, but then that same narrative will be a headline somewhere. And now you got the city of San Jose. And I only say San Jose because Daniel's from San Jose. Now you got San Jose tripping about what's going on in your local town, saying, oh, they're real bigots over there. They didn't want Mr. Pickles pulling up or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, did you guys even see what this guy looked like? Or like, yeah, no, it's the narrative that they push that turned into headlines later, you know?
Oh yeah,
Gross.
man, that was a wild one, man. And then you have a couple of local businesses that showed up, and they're like, if you don't like it, don't bring your kids over here. And it's like, dude, don't use our funds to gaslight the community and indoctrinate the youth who have no clue what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
like let the parents be able to decide on how they want to raise their kids. If they want to raise their kids with faith fundamentals or principles that align with Christianity, Muslim, or whatever it is that they decide, the parent has a choice to make that. You know, they shouldn't be using our tax funds to and doing it behind our back or being tricky about it. You know,
Mhm.
but for us, I guess we're racist and we're bigots. You know, because
Hell
we
yeah.
stand for any of that. But they can call me whatever they want. That I'm not cool with that. You know.
I think at this point, people are. You can call me whatever you want.
Uh,
I don't care. I don't think people care anymore. It's so overused that it's like, what's that? What is the story? The is it the girl who cried wolf
Yeah.
or
The
whatever?
boy who cried wolf.
That's where we
mhm.
are. Like nobody believes it anymore. You know what I mean? And
And
that's unfortunate because there are people that maybe do deserve those names, but they went and used it on everybody. Now nobody cares if you call someone a racist, a homophobe. It's probably 99% of the time not even true.
it's not. And you know what I've noticed it now. Ever since that happened, I've been in the front lines on everything, especially here in the community. Ever since that happened, what I noticed is it's just nonprofits. They're
Hmm.
all coincide together. They all work together. They all get money. And you know what sucks is that it's all our money. You
It is
know,
all money.
there's people out here that they barely put food on the table, and it's all our money that they use. All these nonprofits get money. Like right now, I do these private. I do it out of my own pocket, out of my. I work hard. I'm here till like 12 at night sometimes, just working. And I pay for these events. I hand out free food to the kids. Anybody who wants to come out, show up. We do this. And they use all our money to to gaslight the community and be able to push that, because if they don't do that, they don't get no they don't get grant money. And they all work together. So when I say something or anything, they all work together and they call me racist. They call me all of this in the book that they can just continue to push their narrative on it. Like I was working with these or with a nonprofit organization, and they canceled me because I stood up against pickles. You know, and they said, unfortunately, even though you, the sad part, this is what I want people to understand, is that they don't care about the community. All these nonprofits that do these community events, they can care less about you, about the
Mhm.
community, because what they care more about is getting those grants.
Hmm.
Mhm.
These people, when I had a conversation with them, and I told them where I stand, and I don't care if they want to stop working with me. Um, this is where I stand, and I'm going to continue to keep doing that. They told me, you know what? Unfortunately, we can't continue to work with you. I just became a father, and I understand exactly what you're talking about, and I agree with what I agree. They say I agree with what your principles are, but I can't work with you because that affects our way of getting money.
And that's what it's all
So,
about, Oscar.
and
That's
they
what
don't
it's all
care.
about for them. Unfortunately, um, uh, what it is for what we talk about on LFM and sometimes don't mind you is or don't mind us is that it comes down to who our leaders are, and if our leaders are focused on moving money to certain pockets, right? How is that money flowing, and who's voting for that people, and
Hmm.
why is the community voting for that people? Well, it's because they don't know, Oscar. They
Mhm.
just
They don't know.
our communities don't realize what's going on at the library. When they talk about pickles, uh, nobody really pays attention. When you think about the San Fernando Valley, specifically where in the area where you're at in the county of Los Angeles, right? I used to live there, and you have different pockets of minority communities. You have areas of Latinos, you have areas of Armenians, you have areas of Jewish people. Um, these areas, when you go out, it's not like you see the rainbow flags everywhere like you would imagine Los Angeles to be. It's not like that. But the people that are there, they're not educated. They don't realize that their money is going to fund these things that are
Hmm.
impacting not just their kids, but also the local community around them. So their kids see this stuff. They take them to see they take the kids to see pickles, but also the people that are standing up to talk against pickles, they're getting shut down. So they no
Hmm.
longer have a voice. People like Oscar don't have a voice. But you do things in the community to counteract that. And I would love if you talk about those things that you're doing in the community.
So I started doing my own event. I actually got in contact with a couple other local businesses and organizations. I got real close with a friend Benito. He ran for Congress. Um, but right here is very blue. It was he lost by landslide. But we're working our way there, and we connected, and we're starting to do our own little community events out of our own pocket. We don't want to get anything that has to do with grants or anything like that. Um, we're just doing our own community events, informing people, letting people know about bills that are being passed, like the bill that you just mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
We're also working with another organization called Serving Family Values. They're grassroots as well. It's local community people who just want to educate the community on all the bills that are being passed and where's their money going. Why is everything getting funded from our tax money and people can't even put gas on their car?
Mhm.
Um, they like I don't understand this to this point. Like I do these events out of my own pocket, but these people get $500,000 to do these grants. Um, and they give back to the community, and they get all this leadership praise.
Mm.
And me, I'm not talking about that. This has nothing to do with me, but what I'm saying is that the way they manipulate the community is that they give 500,000 to these nonprofits, and they come out and they get all this leadership praise, like they're the big guys over here with this nonprofit, but behind closed doors, they're getting all of our tax money. So I want the community to understand, like, are they really giving back to the community if they're using the community's tax money?
Oscar, that's what it is. It's
Mhm.
it's it's all about the flow of money. So nobody knows that this pickles guy is going to the library, right? Nobody knows that there's going to be a Marilyn Monroe dancing in front of the kids, or reading a book in front of the kids. Whatever they're going to do in front of the kids, the way he's dressed is totally inappropriate, right?
I wonder how much it pays.
Well, that's the thing. It's the
Hmm.
money that's getting funded. Like the bus is not free, or taking the having the library open that day just for that event, that costs money. It costs
Mhm.
Yeah.
money to do those things. So, can you imagine if instead of, hey, let's fund this pickles event, if they were like, hey, the there's a guy here in town. His name is Oscar. He's got an event this weekend. He's going to be showing some self defense classes. Let's bus kids over there. That's a guy doing an impact. Let's go put it on ABC. Let's make an announcement that he's going to do a hike this weekend
Mhm.
for the kids or for the community. Those are things that you're doing, right? And I really want you to get into that because you know I would love for my local politicians to, instead of keeping an eye on, like, hey, what's this Marilyn Monroe doing? This is such a cool idea. No, it's not. The cool idea is what a watchdog like Oscar's doing.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that's another thing that I do every Saturday. I started doing that because, especially, that's one of the reasons where I see them indoctrinating the kids, and they're saying that they want inclusivity. I don't understand the whole
Yuck.
inclusivity part. Like, they manipulate it. Like, how does educating a 3 year old who still doesn't even know how to read to wear a wig or wear heels gonna be manipulated into inclusivity? So I launched this program called the Bushido Tribe. um Bushido stands for seven virtues of a samurai warrior. Those are very, very crucial things that our youth needs to be learning and educating them, that's going to actually help them in the future. It's going to help them to be respectful in the community. It's going to help them be honorable in where they live, because that's one thing they do very, very good. Is they figured out a way to make us hate our own place. You know, like, you have I'm first generation here. And I grew up with that mentality where, yeah, I'm Mexican, and you know what, I'm very proud of where I come from. All the principles and everything that they're actually destroying right now too
Hmm.
came from that lifestyle, from the ranch. Being able to have family values, being respectful to your elders, and like everything that they're actually destroying right now is it's literally what this whole community and everything is founded on. But yet they come in here and they say, we love this community, but then they smear it, and so now you hate it. Like, for example, right now we have these other business that comes and they say, oh yeah, we're from this community, but they're not even from this community. They're just coming in here trying to gentrify, and it's all a product of the gentrification to have ownership. Just like they say, we're going to own everything and you're going to be happy. So that's part of the product of everything that's going on right now. So what they do is they bring these outsiders to push those narratives, manipulate our people to say that we're Mexican, so that we don't have pride in where we're currently from, so that we won't have to fight for what we actually stand for, because then we don't stand for anything if we don't love where we're from.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I,
You're
I
so
you're
get I get what you're saying.
yeah.
so so they come in here and they say, oh yeah, um they say, oh yeah, I came over here and I love this community. I love everything this community's from. But then on the next post they put, oh well, this community, the founder separated all these indigenous people and they stripped them from their home, and that's how San Fernando got built, and I don't know what. But then it's like, okay, so what is it? Do you like the community? Do you like what it was founded upon, and that's why you moved over here? or
Well,
or do you want to hate it? But the goal is to make us demoralize our standards and not want to be here anymore, and not want to be able to fight for the reality of what we love, especially loving our country, being able to be here and what it stands for, and the
Right.
principles that what it means.
mhm.
So that's how the Bushido got came out. I'm pretty everywhere right now, but that's how the Bushido
No, no.
came out. So so going back to like how they wanna make you hate your community. The goal with the Bushido tribe is being able to teach them discipline, structure at a young age, being able to educate them on things that they're going to be able to help them in the future, like perseverance. We go on for like a good mile hike, come back. We do burpees, push-ups. We push them to be able to overcome their physical and their mindset. Then we do for sparring for self-defense, so that they can benefit them in the future. Not only will they be more brilliant, they'll look physically stronger, and they'll be able to protect and provide for their family. things that the things that our council people don't see that that's more important for our youth, you know,
Mm.
than being able to wear heels and a wig, you know.
Yeah, look good, feel good. It's that's just the reality, right? If you're out there learning how to do these things, how to do burpees, how to hike, how to stay physically active, how to do things like self-defense, the Bushido tribe way, right?
Hmm.
Then you learn those morals and you go forward through life and look at everything through that mindset instead of having no morals. Like what morals are these little events like pickles? What is that teaching kids? It's not teaching them anything that is morally correct,
Mhm.
right? It's reprehensive. And
They
one thing you mentioned earlier is like the when they come at you like, oh well, the founders did this to the indigenous people, and it's like, what does that have to do with what the Bushido tribe is teaching these young children now?
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
we're trying to bring people together and move this community forward. We're trying
Hmm.
to we're trying to we're trying to build a foundation here with these kids, and hopefully as they grow, some of them will move away, but some of them will stay. And the foundation that you're building with those kids, what are we trying to do?
Mhm.
You got pickles on one side and you got Bushido tribe on the other. Like, why isn't the community funding the Bushido tribe? That's just for the people that are watching, for the people that will see us later, you got to think about that for your local representatives. Hey, how can we get a little bit of funding to go to people like Oscar so that they can help really bring these kids with the proper foundation in our community? Because the kids that are going to your events, they're the future, right? We're just going to get old.
Hmm.
We're going to get to a point where we're no longer working, we're no longer paying our taxes because we're going to be retired, right? But these kids that you're raising up, they're the future. So why aren't we focusing a little bit more on these watchdogs in our community? Why can't we fund them?
What doesn't fit their narrative? You know,
It
it
doesn't
sets
fit
them
their
back.
narrative.
Hmm.
It
Mhm.
doesn't fit their narrative. And the people in that community, you know, um, w- I don't personally. I don't push to people like, hey, you got to vote this, you got to vote that, because I don't care if the right person in the community that does the job is red or blue. What I
Hmm.
care about is that person that's leading in the community, our representatives, are really funding the right things that are going to better the community.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
and the reality is, a trans event is not it. It's not. Because
Mhm.
if that changes one child in the wrong direction, then money poorly spent.
Well, it's a
But
trickle effect. It's a
it
trickle
it is a
effect.
trickle effect.
They know it's a trickle effect. So say their goal was just to impact one kid, and then now you have one kid that's gonna grow up, and then they're gonna teach him to be cool, and then
Yeah,
everybody's gonna be side with him. All these nonprofits are gonna blow him up, and then guess what? You're gonna have another 10 kids lined up wanting to
Pickles
be like
Juniors.
him, not understanding why. They're just gonna want to be like him just because everybody else is pushing it up. You know,
Yep,
with our own tax money too. You know,
it is
and
our own
and
tax
that's their
money.
goal. That's the goal. The goal is to be able to at least get one kid to change him. Once they change that one kid, then they start promoting him, pushing him up, moving him forward, investing in him, so that all the other kids can fall in line. And then
Well,
now you have a group of now you have a community and a group that's already indoctrinated. That's going to vote their way and follow their guidelines. You know.
mhm.
Yeah, and it's like you said, Oscar. You do these things with your own money. It's not like you're looking for the money, right? Like I'm talking right now, and you're probably thinking like, well, I don't need the community. I don't need money from my local representative. Because you do these things with your own money. You're doing it because you want to better your community, right? You want an
Correct.
example. You want to be the example out there so that your kids can see you doing that, so that other kids can look up to you, right? Like
Hmm.
to have that foundation, the Bushido tribe. But no, it's not a lot of people doing these things. It's not.
Mhm.
Hey Oscar, so you said oh man, these grants, that these grants are bad news. Are there any good grants out there? What has your investigating led you to on these grants? Just
from
they're all
from
bad
my
news.
from my understanding is they all have to push the narrative. That's what I see. If you want to get a grant, you have to be buddy buddy with the city council members and like all of that stuff, and everything in Los Angeles right now is blue, you know.
Mm,
And if you look at every single, like, that's what I don't understand. Like, how is there's seats out here who's not even, they're not even being able to set red. Like, not even, no one even runs red no more, and
mm,
certain seats in certain districts, like, there's no way anybody's running for red, you know. And like he said, this is not about being red or about being blue. It's about being able to have an opposition and being able to understand what's the best vote for the community who's going to get the job done the best way, not their way, and being able to push the narrative. So
yeah.
that's how they do it. That's how they get these grants. They take pictures with all these nonprofits, and these nonprofits are willing to sell their souls so that they can continue to get the money. You
Mhm.
know, so now you see these nonprofits doing all these great events in the community, and then you
Mm.
keep scrolling down, you see all this pride stuff, and you see all this DEI stuff, because that's the only way they get their money. And then you see a city council member right there too that's pushing the same narrative, and the only way they get their grant money is by being able to fall in line.
Yeah,
They have
everything
no freedom.
everything has become partisan. You know,
Hmm.
like I was talking about AB 379. It's like there was three state senators and an assemblyman, all Democrats, that are pushing to make sure that if you're 16 or 17, you know, and someone pays for sex with you, it's not a felony. It's a partisan thing. You know what I mean? And like you're saying, it's like if you're not in line, if the party that's in charge of your city council is Democrat, they've made everything partisan. So where that, if you're trying to do something with kids that isn't anything sexual, basically, you know, do we really want to invest in that? If you want to show kids how to defend themselves, or just give them other things
Change a
in life.
tire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things in life that are going to benefit in the long run, skills that they can learn for the
What's
future,
an Allen wrench?
that's frowned upon. But it's because everything has become so partisan, and we need, people like yourself, like I said, like, we try to say things, but there's a lot of people in your community that might not know that, what, it is our city council that's in charge of these grants. And yeah, instead of giving people, you know people like yourself, or anybody else that's in your community kind of trying to do things that you're doing, they're giving it to these drag events, or to this event, to that, because it fits a narrative. um and that's not how it should be, and people probably don't even know that. People don't
Hmm.
even know why all those things get highlighted. So that's why, like, in the video I made about 379, I listed all the cities that those four people represent. And in those four representatives, you're practically talking about major cities in this entire state. you
Yeah.
know and it's like, do people in Fremont really know that these one of these four is pushing for that? You know what I mean? Do people in North Hollywood know that? Do people
They know.
South San Francisco, you know what I mean, like Hayward, do they actually know? I
Mhm.
know they might vote blue no matter who, but they might not know what that means, because a lot of people think Democrats is just the party of
Mhm.
the people. They're going to help me with this and that, and it's, I mean, we all know, for the most part, that's not true. You know what I mean? We've
Yeah.
all voted, and especially Christian Democrat. But now no more. Now
Especially,
you got to be independent.
yeah,
You can't stick to a party. Obviously, the conservatives kind of, we align more with them now. It's a shift. I don't know what it is, right? If you want to call it. People say the Democratic Party left me. I think it's more people, get mature, get older. They start paying a little more attention, and then you go, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna anchor myself to this party or this party. It's whatever makes sense for the community, for my freedoms, for my kids. you know,
Mhm.
you start thinking differently. And I think, in a sense, that happens to a lot of people, but for some reason, these politicians take advantage of the people that maybe haven't gotten there yet.
No, yeah, yeah. No,
Oscar,
yeah, and
what do
then that's another important subject too that people don't realize the reality of what's going on. Like you mentioned, like why don't we get this grant money to me? No, how about we just get this grant money back to the people who can't even put food on the table? Why are our
yeah,
taxes so damn high?
yeah, lower the
Like we're
taxes.
we're we're
Seriously.
skipping
One
that. Like
third, brother.
why are we paying thirty
1/3.
percent? What are we paying 30% in tax for? And then paying on everything that we buy, we paying
Hmm.
more tax, And then all these nonprofits, you got all these CEOs of these nonprofits making over 150K, you
Yeah.
know? Like, come on, how about we just give the people, or how about we just stop taxing the people so much money? And that bring back more money into the community, you
Yeah.
know?
Well,
Like
that's why the
mhm.
governor race is going to be super important, and we'll see what it ends up being. But we can't. My opinion right now, as a person that's lived in California all my life, it's like, dude, we can't elect another Democrat governor. We have to
Okay.
find a way to give
Or an
someone else
English
a
guy.
shot. You know what I mean? So, or an English guy.
Oscar and Christian, unfortunately for you guys live in big blue cities. The rest of California, like here in the Fresno area, it's really red. It's
Yeah.
very Republican.
What the
You know,
fuck, Gio? What the
I
fuck
know.
are you doing?
I'm just
My
rubbing it
house
in.
is my house is red as hell. San Fernando called Gio and they said they don't know you.
I
Don't
bring that.
don't don't be doing that to me, Gio.
We
Don't
have
be doing
we
where
look.
I
We have
stay red.
listeners.
These
We
four
have
walls are
listeners
red as
everywhere. We have
hell.
people tune in from Texas, and they're like, "What is going on over there, you guys?" And because they tune in and they're like, "Look at these," because they're like, we're pretty conservative. You know, we're not like well, I'm not like alt right wing or nothing like that, but I am
Don't lie.
I'm in the faith, man. I
I'm not
follow
all the way
Jesus.
fascist.
Hey, I follow Jesus. I raised my family in the church. Um,
Sure.
uh, I take my kids out. I
Amen.
I coach the soccer team. I like to be in the community. Even though I'm very recluse. Like when I'm home, and that's it.
Aggressive.
Right? Yeah. But you know, hey, what can we do in the areas like Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Diego? Because San Diego's going that way too. It's getting very blue. The San Francisco Bay Area. Like what can be done to turn it around over there? Because there's obviously, even when I lived there, there's obviously a lot of conservatives there. And it's like, well, are they not voting? Or um because they're not quiet. Like when people talk to them, they're we don't fight people back, but we're just like, hey, common sense, dude. Like we don't
I,
need pickles,
no, I
and we
think
No,
don't
we
need to
just
don't.
fund rainbow crosswalks. Like
yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Like it's
I
like
think
Oscar said, we just don't want to pay as much in taxes.
yeah.
Let's stop funding those things so that people can start feeling like, hey, this is no more normal. How
I
do we bring normal back?
I, I just want to say this. Like, I see that you know in Northern California, like
Hell
the
yeah.
outreach overall, right? California, the outreach needs to be a little better when it comes to you know maybe people like us trying to speak to other people that might not know about these things. It is a little hard because you know there's groups, right? There's Luca, RNHA, there's Latinos for America First. There's a bunch of groups that are out there, but the I think one of the issues is sometimes um these big groups I think have a common goal, but they have different routes, and the outreach, instead of being unified and hitting the targets, or the people that we can, like, hey, if I have a conversation with this guy and he doesn't know any of this stuff, and I'm telling him and he's hearing it for the first time, You know what I mean? If the outreach was a little bit more unified, I feel like we could reach more people and change like huge, pockets in the Bay Area in LA. But I think sometimes, we get so caught up in who's who, what am I doing, my name, that name. You know what I mean? Like that's also, this is my personal opinion, part of the problem as to why things don't get um moving or accomplished a little quicker. There's a lot of ego in having those different organizations, and I get it, but it's also, it brings us a unnecessary divide where it could easily just boom, and you can attack it as one thing in unison.
There's a lot of trouble in getting people to unite. Like when I go
We
vote,
need a round table.
Oscar. Yeah, no, when I when I go vote, my ticket is mostly Republican versus Democrat. When I lived in Los Angeles County, it
There
wasn't
you
like
go
that.
again.
It was Democrat versus Democrat. Like, which Democrat are you going to vote for? And unfortunately, when we go vote for governor, it's it's even worse now because
Mhm.
we thought Sheriff Chad, he's got this. Like, he's done a good job in Riverside. Yeah, he knelt down, but it didn't hurt. It's not hurting my feelings anymore.
That's old stuff, Jill. Stop
That's old
bringing that
stuff.
up, dude. Stop
It's
bringing
not
it
hurting my
up.
feelings anymore.
We all did it, dude.
But here's the
Kaepernick
guy.
was
Here's the guy
sick.
with action, and then the Republicans want to throw in this wrench with Steve Hilton. Like, who is this Steve Hilton guy? He's from England. He moved here like
Mm-mm.
10 years ago. His wife works at Netflix. She's in
Mm-mm.
Silicon Valley.
He's got an
Mm.
APAC handler.
Yeah, and
Mm.
all these conservatives from out of state are backing him up. And there's other Latino organizations. I won't say their names, rhymes with
Rhymes with
Brexit,
Schmexit.
but they're backing him up, and I'm like, why are
They're
we
a news
backing this
channel
guy?
now. Leave them alone.
Oh,
Why are we backing this guy? It doesn't make any sense. We don't, just because he's on Fox News, like, we don't like everybody on Fox News.
No.
Like, did we forget that Fox News chased all our guys away? They got rid of Tucker. Like, come on, dude. Like, what?
your guys on.
Gutfield's on his way out too. If he does anything to push back, like, no, Fox News is not our guide.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
you know who's very verbal and very, very, very strategic is Candace Owens, man. She's
Yeah.
on it, dude.
Gio don't like her.
I don't
He's
like
on-
Candace Owens.
He's on ice.
You don't like
he's
Candace
skating
Owens?
on
Nah,
ice.
I watched a clip with her earlier, and I was
Hey.
like, yeah, Candace, yeah. But
You better watch yourself, Gio.
Yeah.
Chill, Jill. We don't need the
when
wrath
she
of
when
Candace.
she comes on, you ain't gonna be on it.
Hey, when she comes on, look, I can watch Candace Owens until Jews come up, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
She's on maternity leave.
That's the Lord's kingdom. We don't mess with them. Like,
Hey, we're Jewish.
I'm not trying to get smoked today.
Yeah. No, but to kind of wrap this up, man. Just I put your Instagrams there, Elite Skate Shop. That hat you're wearing, pretty dope. So if you're watching this, go order one of those hats.
Thank you, man.
It's your Elite Skate Shop. It's not we're under, our thing is also lead, but we have kind of a different thing. But at the end of the day, it's crazy how that kind of worked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How, like, the coincidence, if you will. Because we
Our
use
fund
lead
is
as,
Comic Sans.
yeah, we use lead as, leaders, leaders educating against deception, because
Mhm.
we see the manipulation everywhere. With
I gotta be
especially with the
honest,
kids.
Oscar. When you reached out, I thought we were gonna get sued.
Nah,
When
man,
Daniel was
we're all
like,
in
"Hey,
the
can
same
somebody
fight.
jump on a call with me?" I was like, "Nah, I'm good.
Nah, man.
Cease and desist, brother.
I'm not trying to get named. I'm not trying to get named in a lawsuit."
We can do a collaboration, man. We can collab, man. We're in the same fight. We're in the same war, man. For
Yeah.
real.
No, that
We're not
hat is
against
dope.
the
I'm
side.
gonna pick one of those up for sure.
I'll
If you're
send it-
watching
I'll-
this, Lead Skate
uh,
Shop, Instagram, pretty sure there's a link there. Go buy it. That hat is dope.
Thank you
That
guys,
is
man. And
dope.
then send me guys your guys' location. I'll send you guys one, man. For real, you guys are doing great work. You guys are really doing big things for California and for America too, man. This is big. I do
Mhm.
want to add one thing.
Yeah.
Gio, you said what
Get
can
them.
we do? What can we do
Get them.
to help the situation? One of the things that I do want to tell everybody is stop moving out, man. You know,
Yeah.
stop moving out. That's not gonna help us, man. You got people out
Fucking
here. They're gonna go after you
pussies.
if we lose this out here. They're gonna go after wherever you move to. If
Yeah.
you think you're gonna move to a red state or you're gonna move to anything, they're going after you over
It
there. After they're done with us over here,
it
it's only
goes
gonna
to
make it harder for us. It's gonna make it way more difficult for us to get those numbers. If you move out, that's a less number for us.
That's a that's
My guy Armando in Texas, every week he puts on move to Texas, come to Texas, and I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
we're fighting here,
Mm-mm.
man. Hey,
No,
I
no,
got
no.
life on
know
hard
I'm
mode over here.
I'm in Fresno County. We're conservative here. There's a lot of
That's
places up in Jefferson, the state of
mhm.
Jefferson. That's for the people that are not in California.
Mhm.
That is the just past Sacramento. Everything above Sacramento, they try to split from California. They try to become the state of Jefferson.
They
That's
try to secede.
all conservative, like El Dorado
Traitors.
County, everything
They
up
try
there.
to
Redding.
secede.
What's that?
They try to secede from California.
Yeah. Oh man,
Shit.
Traitors.
California's
I
tried to
don't like
split it
that.
many times. I
I
don't
don't
know if you
like that.
remember, like 8 years ago,
One
they tried to
California
split it into
state.
5 states.
They took
No
they
two-state
took
solution.
they took it off the ballot. They didn't even let us vote for that. The
Yeah,
California Supreme Court said, "Nope, we're not going to have the people vote for that," which
I
is kind
remember
of wild.
the last time
What
we voted for it, I was
what
like,
if you
"Can
get
we be
stuck on
part
the
of
bad side?
Jefferson?"
Then you just
But
move to the other good side, You're
it's
still
the
in
I don't wanna
California.
live in I don't wanna
No.
live in East California. What the hell?
But no, for real.
for the longest time, San Diego was pretty
Yeah.
conservative, or like everything from Orange County down was pretty conservative. From what I hear from friends that are involved down there, there's very questionable things going on out there. But it's the big cities that hold the state back.
Mhm.
It's Los Angeles,
Oh, yeah.
it's San Francisco Bay Area, Sacramento,
Mhm.
and now San Diego. Weirdly.
Yeah.
So whatever we can do to put the message out, you know, we have this little podcast and we invest money into it.
Share the
W-
show.
We get like
Don't be a hoe.
yeah.
Share the show.
Yo, share the show. But we put our own money into it. We're not getting anything back. Like maybe in 30 years, my joke is, and maybe in about 30 years, we'll be able to buy a single microphone. And Christian's first one to get a microphone.
Shit,
Um,
I might need one now. I don't know what the hell was happening earlier.
well, I say Christian first because it's gonna be his wedding gift. It's gonna be late, but it's gonna be his.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
But whatever we can do to put the message out in California, like, hey, maybe you don't want to commit to voting Republican, but really just go down the ballot, look up what you're voting for, and our message is vote your reality. Like, really, what is gonna either benefit your family and yourself, and what's gonna benefit your community? What's the
Mhm.
best thing for your family and your community?
Yep.
Man, with the way our taxes are right now, man, I tell people if it's gonna raise your taxes, just vote no on it, man. Don't just. There's
Yeah.
no
Same.
point, you know.
Yeah.
Every time we go to vote, it's some emotional bullshit, right? Like we go out and like, oh, we want to give more money to the homeless, and now we're finding out like, okay, well, where does
They're
that money
eating
be
the
going?
dogs.
We don't know. We don't know. They're like, oh, let's look. The feds are looking into Skid Row, and they're like, the tiny homes we're supposed to build in Los
Mhm.
Angeles, we haven't started yet, but you spent all the
Mhm.
money. Uh, we don't know. We don't. Hey, it's gone. The fires. Let's focus on the fires.
Mhm.
Like, where has the money gone? But they want more money.
Yeah.
But you know what? We vote for it, man.
We
You
do
know.
vote for it.
Geo
Yeah.
does.
He
Not
said,
no
yeah.
more. Not no more.
Not no
He's
more.
like, tax me
Not no more.
more.
Not no more.
I
No,
look. I gave
but
Obama 2 chances, and he didn't hook me up,
Damn.
and and I saw this guy come down the golden escalator, and I was like, man, this is a joke. And then I watched the Republican debate, and I was like, hey, this guy's for real. And I had family members like, did you see this crazy dude, like racist guy? And I was like, nah, but did you really watch? Did you really? Because I was liking Trump in 2015, 2016. I was like, did you actually watch it though? It's he ain't lying. He's not lying. Like, we do get some bad people that come from Mexico. Look, I know our family came from Mexico, but we can't lie. Like, hey, we got some bad cousins, right? Like, we got some cousins that are selling
Christian does.
dope. We got some cousins that are in prison. We can't be lying. There's some bad hombres out there. Like,
There's
you
bad
know,
apples everywhere, man.
and everywhere.
Yeah.
And they always point out, like, what about the Americans? The American crime rate is worse. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but that doesn't justify that
Mhm.
people are coming here and adding to that crime rate. Like,
Yeah.
that don't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
we want immigrants to come here. Like, my family came here, and if more people like my family came here, great. But they're not all like that. They're
Hey,
not
and
all.
everybody talks about immigration too, and they all forget that Obama deported
He
Deported
was
way more
deporting
people than
number
everybody.
one.
anything else, man. And
Hey,
Well,
nobody talks about
hey,
it.
everybody.
Big
You know
Mike
what I?
says she can't sleep at night because of all the people being deported. So
You know what I told my
she's
wife? They're talking about this Salvadoran guy, right? Like, no due process. I told my wife, like, you know what? I've had uncles that have been deported, like family that have been deported, and they didn't get due process. Like in the 90s, the 2000s, I remember my uncle getting picked up, and before the weekend even ended, he was in Tijuana. Like,
We
we're talking about due process.
it's because I,
Why? We never got
I
due
said it
process.
before.
Why are we expecting due process now?
No, I said it before. We grew up. We knew the risk associated with being here illegally, and you knew if you got caught, well, we'll see you when you get back. You
Yeah,
know.
Hmm.
Now
I didn't go to
everyone's
trial.
entitled to stay here. It's like, nah, bro. It's the same. It's the same thing. You know. But to your point, Oscar, it's true, man. Like, a lot of people did leave the state that could have been here fighting for it. And and that kind of ties into what Gio was saying about Steve Hilton. Look, I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't know if he can end up being a good candidate or not. We'll see how everything plays out. But for me, I don't like the big out of state endorsements on day one. To me, I don't like that because those people aren't here. A lot of those people, if we're going to be honest, just bash the state, and it's
Hmm.
they're not here. It's whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Say what you want,
Yeah,
but
last month they were the
also
first ones to be like,
where were you?
we should let California become its own country. Now they want to endorse our governor. Like, nah, for what? Don't do
yeah.
Where
that.
were you in the '92 earthquakes? That's what I want to say. Where were you?
you
but
you
Where were
didn't go
you when
help
that set
nobody in
burned down?
Northridge.
yeah. But anything you want to say? Any final message to your community, or I put your Instagrams up so people can follow you there. But anything you want to let the people know before we wrap up?
Yeah, just speak up, man. Like I get a lot of people here in my business. They all agree with what I'm doing, and they all agree with what I'm saying. They don't speak up. And stop moving out, man. We
Yeah.
really need you guys to stay here. We really need you guys to join the fight, and it's all going to benefit the future of our kids, it benefit the future of our communities. Um, like I said, if we start planting good seeds right now, later on down the road, we're going to have a great leader in office. But we got to start pushing that mindset from when they're young. The goal is to get that going. Every last Sunday too. I do want to add that every last Sunday of the month, I will be doing skateboard events. I will be collaborating with the Hispanic Republican Club. We would be
Nice.
giving out free food to the community, all paid for by our own pockets. We're not getting no grants with this no money.
Fuck these grants.
We're gonna be doing skate events. We're gonna be doing Bushido training, live family events every last Sunday of every month at Paxton Park. If anybody wants to come down and just participate, get some boot camp training, get some free food, come hang out with us, learn about bills that are being passed, and
Oh, did we lose?
uh, we'll help you register to vote and things like that. Get more
Nice.
familiar with the community.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that sounds awesome, man. So reach out to Oscar there. He's at Lead Skate Shop and also at 7.30.1 on Instagram. Reach out. You can probably find all that information on his pages, and wherever if you post anything on that, we'll make sure to share it, man. That way you can get more people to get there. And you got something, Gio?
Yeah, I got something important for our out of state listeners or for people that don't live in the Los Angeles area, and you want to support Oscar. Leadskateshop.com, right?
Yeah, you can go on my website, leadskateshop.com. And then my print shop is colonyinc.com.
And I noticed free shipping on domestic orders over $100. Hey,
Yes, sir.
that's a skateboard. I mean, if you like skating and you want to support somebody, you want to support the fight here in California, you might think that it's a losing battle, but really a difference is being made here. And the proof was in the last election. Like California really is turning a little more conservative with the fires. People are realizing that our representatives really ain't there to back us up. They're there to fill their pockets, right? So, support a business that's actually making a difference in his community. Leadskateshop.com. And what was your print shop's website?
Colony with a K, KOLONY, INC.com.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna share that on I'm gonna share that on Twitter. We'll send that on DMU also on Twitter. Support, buy a skateboard, buy some gear, buy some hats. From a real watchdog that's making a difference in his community.
Thank you guys,
Yep.
man.
Cool.
Hopefully I get to see you guys at one of our events and do a live podcast there, man.
Hell
That would
yeah.
be
No,
dope.
let's do it again. We'll
Let's
do
do
this
it, yeah.
again.
Let me
For
know.
sure. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for everybody that tuned in. Make sure to like Oscar said, don't be a hoe. Share the show.
Share the show, man.
Share the show. Hit that like, retweet, whatever. Follow everybody, and we appreciate everybody for your time, for tuning in, your comments, and all that stuff. So that being said, peace be with you.
Thanks, man.
God
Take
bless.
care, man. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Daniel.
All right, thanks, Oscar.
Coming on.
Take care.